The Temple of Hephaestus, or Hephaestion, or earlier as the Theseion, is a well-preserved Greek temple. It remains standing largely as built. It is a Doric perimetral temple, and is located at the northwest side of the Agora of Athens, on top of the Agoraios Colonus Hill. From the 7th century until 1834, it served as the Greek Orthodox Church of St. George Achaemenes. The building's condition has been maintained due to its history of varied use. Name: Hephaestus was the patron god of metalworking, craftsmanship, and fire. There were numerous potters' workshops and metalworking shops in the vicinity of the temple, as befits the temple's honorary. Archaeological evidence suggests that there was no earlier building on the site except for a small sanctuary that was burned when the Persians occupied Athens in 480 BCE. The name Theseion, or Temple of Theseus, was attributed to the monument under the assumption it housed the remains of the Athenian hero Theseus, brought back to the city from the island of Scyros by Cimon in 475 BCE, but refuted after inscriptions from within the temple associated it firmly with Hephaestus. Construction. After the Battle of Plataea, the Greeks swore never to rebuild their sanctuaries destroyed by the Persians during their invasion of Greece, but to leave them in ruins, as a perpetual reminder of the war. The Athenians directed their funds towards rebuilding their economy and strengthening their influence in the Delian League. When Pericles came to power, he envisioned a grand plan for transforming Athens into the center of Greek power and culture. Construction started in 449 BCE, and some scholars believe the building not to have been completed for some 3 decades. Funds and workers having been redirected towards the Parthenon. The western frieze was completed between 445–440 BCE, while the eastern frieze, the western pediment, and several changes in the building's interior are dated by these scholars to 435–430 BCE, largely on stylistic grounds. It was only during the Peace of Nissos that the roof was completed and the cult images were installed. The temple was officially inaugurated in 416–415 BCE. Description. Many architects have been suggested, but without firm evidence. One refers simply to the Hephaestion master. The temple is built of marble from the nearby Mount Penteli, excepting the bottom step of the crepice or platform. The architectural sculpture is in both Pentelic and Parian marble. The dimensions of the temple are 13.708 meters north to south and 31.776 meters east to west, with 6 columns on the short east and west sides and 13 columns along the longer north and south sides. The building has a pronaos, a cella housing cult images at the center of the structure, and an opisthodomos. The alignment of the antae of the pronaos with the third flank columns of the peristyle is a design element unique middle of the 5th century BCE. There is also an inner Doric colonnade with 5 columns on the north and south side and 3 across the end. The decorative sculptures highlight the extent of mixture of the two styles in the construction of the temple. Both the pronaos and the opisthodomos are decorated with continuous Ionic friezes were planted around the temple, creating a small garden. Church. Around 700 CE, the temple was turned into a Christian church, dedicated to St. George. Exactly when the temple was converted to a Christian church remains unknown. There are assumptions, however, that maybe that happened in the 7th century. The characterization as Achaemenes, adding all kind of adjectives in the names of the churches or the saints, is commonplace in Greek Orthodox tradition, has been given a lot of explanations. The first one states that it probably derives from the name of the son of Theseus and Phaedra, Achaementus, later transformed to Archamatos and later still to Achaemenes. Another scenario is based on the very sense of Achaemenes, because during the Ottoman era, the temple was used only once a year, the day of the Feast of St. George. A third option is that the name is due to Archbishop of Athens Michael Achaemenatus, who might have been the first to perform a divine liturgy in the church. The last divine liturgy in the temple took place on February 21, 1833, during the celebrations for the arrival of Otto in Greece. In the presence of the Athenians and of many others, the bishop Talon Neophytos gave a speech. 19th century. When Athens became the official capital of Greece in 1834, the publication of the relevant royal edict was made in this temple. That was the place of the last public turnout of the Athenians. It was used as a burial place for non-Orthodox Europeans in the 19th century, among whom were many full Hellenes who gave their lives in the cause of Greek War of Independence. Among those buried in the site was John Tweddle, a friend of Lord Elgin, while excavations also revealed a slab from the grave of George Watson with a Latin epitaph by Lord Byron. In 1834, the first king of Greece, Otto I, was officially welcomed there. Otto ordered the building to be used as a museum, in which capacity it remained until 1934, when it reverted to its status of an ancient monument and extensive archaeological research was allowed. Works modeled on, or inspired by, the Temple of Hephaestus. Dundalk Courthouse, Dundalk, Ireland. Vermont State House, Montpelier, Vermont, USA. Old Montgomery County Courthouse, Dayton, Ohio, USA. McKim School, Baltimore, Maryland, USA. Penshaw Monument, Penshaw, Tyneham Weir, England. New Parliament House, Edinburgh. Arlington House, the Robert E. Lee Memorial, Arlington Cemetery, Virginia, USA.